I was 12. Now Addie had long blonde hair, she wore a big thick braid, and she's often seen around the property. Now I'll tell you a little bit about Addie and Liza. When the lighthouse was being built, one of the ways they were building was they were importing the bricks from up north. And they'd have boats come in out here in the river. Now they built a railroad track from this construction site all the way out to the middle of the river. A railroad car would run down the end of the track, stop at the gate, the boats would unload the bricks, they'd be hauled up here at the construction site and dumped. Well, once it was empty, they would release the brake and it would free roll down the track to the gate. Well, one of his things his daughters loved to do was climb in that railroad car and take that ride down that track. It was like their own personal roller coaster, and they would do it very often. One Sunday afternoon, in fact it was July 10th of 1873, his two daughters, a servant girl, well, we believe she was the daughter of one of the construction workers. She was only about 7, we don't have her name though. And 2 young boys, neighborhood boys, climbed in the railroad car to take a ride. They are free rolling down that track when something went terribly wrong. The brakes failed. The railroad car ran into the gate, flipped over, and went into the water. The 3 girls drowned. But you see, they've never left this property. They love to play here. In fact, that corner right over there, we call that Addie's Corner. And like I said, often we can describe her very clearly because people see her constantly. Usually she's sitting over there in the window, looking out, waving to guests as they're standing there in the courtyard. In fact, tonight when you leave and you're in the courtyard and you're walking around, take a picture of this window. You might get a picture of her sitting there. Also, when you're leaving, you want to step over here beside the gates and take another picture up here in this window because a lot of time Addie is joined by her little sister Liza. Liza's got 2 long blonde braids. She's about 12. And they actually are there even during the daytime. Now this building is not open, this portion of the building is not open to the guests during the daytime, so we have people come in the gift shop, there's the cute little reenactors upstairs in the 2nd story of the house, waving to us. We laugh, because you see we don't have any reenactors on the property that dress in period costumes. So we always get tickled when they start talking about the reenactors here on the property. In fact, not too long ago there was a gentleman walking down that path between the lighthouse and the gift shop that we just came down. He said he heard a little girl skipping and singing behind him. He turns around and there's a beautiful blonde with long braid, blue dress, and an apron. And he thought she was one of the actors, so he asked her to stop so he can take a picture. He reached for his camera, he looked up, and she was gone. Right in the middle of the path. She disappeared right before his very eyes. Needless to say, he came in the gift shop very shook up. Don't tell me you've got a reenactor on the property. You know, like, no, we don't. Now, Addie's seen quite often, but it's Liza that makes her presence known around this property more than anybody else. She was always a practical joker, and even to this day, she tends to play her practical jokes on people. One of her favorite things to do is that when we close the lighthouse in the afternoons, the tour guide has to make sure everybody's off the deck, walks down all the staircase just like I did. I followed you all down, make sure nobody else was in the lighthouse. And I would go to the door, and just before I closed the door for the evening, I hollered out, "Good night, I'm locking up, I'm turning on the alarm system, there's nobody in here, right?" And what they'll hear is, and footsteps running up the staircase. When they hear that, they physically have to go back all the way to the top of the lighthouse to make sure nobody's left behind. They get to the top only to find hearing running down the staircase. As I said, she loves to play jokes with you guys around here. Another thing she loves to do is poke people. So if all of a sudden you feel a little finger in your back, and there's nobody really behind you, don't be surprised. Now we also have another spirit we've seen often up here, and it's the woman in white. Now many of our lighthouse keepers, we had 2 that lost their wives while they were here on duty. We have no information about this woman except she wears a long white dress. And one night she was walking right by these windows. And everybody in the group Meredith was giving a tour at that time, and this is, if you know Meredith at all, you know when she becomes speechless, there's something going on. And all of a sudden she's like, and everybody in the tour group looked, and there she was standing in the window, a solid figure of a woman in a long white old-fashioned gown.
Wow.
And everybody started screaming. Now, people in the neighborhood see her all the time. I will tell you, you feel free to walk on the front porch, but just not by these doors. They've worked so badly, we're afraid of them breaking if we open. So if you want to investigate the front porch, where the ladies' restroom is, there's a staircase that goes down and up and comes across the front. So feel free to go out there if you like. But you'll, okay? Now, they feel that she's a guardian of the girls. Some of the girls around, she's not too far behind. The other thing you want to look for while you're in here, if you come here in your quiet time, is the sound of marbles clacking. You see over here, they say often, the girls would play marbles for hours on those rainy days, and apparently they still do it from time to time. The sound of marbles hitting the wooden floor, moving around. They've tried to imitate this sound. They've tried to figure out what else it could be besides the marbles. They've never found anything that sounds like it. Sometimes you're going to hear it for a moment. Sometimes you hear it for a long period of time. But it's one of the things that you want to look for tonight in your quiet time. Now, the other night, we had one of our tour guides come down here, and he had never had a paranormal experience in his entire life. And for some reason, he got the great idea of bringing a ukulele. And he sat down over there and started playing his ukulele and singing these old-fashioned love songs. Now, this door is very warped, and we can still use it, though, but it does like to jam. And as he was singing, that door, now you notice when it's very, very heavy. It does not open easily. When he was singing, the door opened halfway, stopped, closed. When he stopped. When he started singing again, it opened again. It was like somebody standing at the doorway peeking in to listen to him sing. So that's one of the things you want to listen to tonight, okay? You ready to go downstairs and find out what you find down there? Okay, now when we all leave this house a little bit, or when I say when I'm done with you, I will unlock the doors so you can come and go as you please through the buildings, okay? And you can have your private time then. But let's go check out downstairs. There is a stepping down off of here, so please be careful, do not fall.